What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DSM Pre-Game Live. Sixers Heat battling it out for the 7th seed tonight down at the Wells Fargo Center in the first round of the play-in tournament. Winner gets to take on the New York Knicks on Saturday. Guys, if you are new to the channel, do me a quick favor. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. It's the best spot to get your thoughts, comments, and questions pulled up here on the screen with your host. I am one half of them tonight, Dylan Davis. To my left, my faithful co-host, Scotty. We're going to get into our keys to victory, key matchups, starting lineups, best bets, game predictions, and much, much more throughout tonight's show before the 7 p.m. tip. But my man, what is going on? And Sixers playoff basketball is back because that's what this is. This is a playoff game out there right now tonight.
Absolutely, man. I'm just getting the show shared out here. But yeah, man, I'm excited for tonight. Big opportunity. Once again, we talked about it this morning. To get over that hump on hump day and, kind of show that you are a different Sixers team, even in a one-game series we have tonight with the Miami Heat, who have kind of had the upper hand on us in previous postseason matchups. This is your time to kind of punch them back and take a little bit of dignity back in this little rivalry. I wouldn't call it like a rivalry, but it's a little one with Jimmy and that Tobias Harris, little confrontation thing there. But at the end of the day, you gotta do what you gotta do tonight to win this game, man. And it's at home. There's no excuses. We talked about that as well. You got Embiid, you got Maxey, you got Oubre, you got your three best players tonight. So no excuses. Well, let me correct myself. Has Embiid been confirmed? I saw he received his USA jersey.
I mean,
come on. If he's not by now, it would be reported, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I haven't seen an official tweet yet, or I haven't checked in the last 10 minutes or so. But I mean, come on. I mean, God forbid we got a tweet in about 10 minutes that Joel Embiid then just cancel the rest of the season at this point.
Yeah, exactly. If he can't go right now, then it's something serious in the first place. So yeah, I feel that.
No, he'll be out there. He'll be good to go. He went through all of through shoot around and all. I think he's going through his pregame routine right now, man. But let's get into this one because we touched on it this morning throughout the Faithful Fanatic show and kind of gave an overview, a preview of what we're looking for tonight. But let's get specific with some of these keys. And I just think this is such a perfect matchup from a fan perspective because it gives the Sixers kind of an audition. It gives the Sixers a chance to show this fan base, show you and I, kind of what we're looking for, what can be different from previous years. And I think, if they would have had a play-in game somehow, some way against the Atlanta Hawks tonight for the 7 seed, no matter what the Sixers did tonight, I don't think it was going to change our purview or thought process on where this team can get or what they would look like against the New York Knicks. It would be just expected. This is a team that's been a roadblock for you, not as much as the Boston Celtics have, but it's been a roadblock for you. And so if you can get,
this is a drink of enjoyment.
This is celebration. If you can get past the Miami Heat tonight, a team that is a championship caliber culture, led by a championship winning head coach, led by a guy who the moment never seems too big for him. This would be a huge step in the right direction where, okay, you can step back and go, okay, this is something they haven't done in the past in this moment when the lights are brightest, and kind of really take some positivity into the weekend when we would face the New York Knicks, man. But let's get into keys. Should we just get it out of the way now? We talked about this morning, but should we just get the rebounding aspect out of the way?
Yeah, box out, rebounding, fundamentals. All of that tonight. It's going to be important.
But
it really will.
It is something that showed its head in Miami a couple weeks ago. Kevin Love winding back the clock to his Minnesota T-Wolves days, just being a monster on the glass, offensive glass. I think you read it. I think you gave me the numbers earlier. The Heat out rebounded the Sixers by 10, but they also had 16 offensive rebounds.
To the Sixers 8, so they
Sixers
doubled them up.
16 offensive rebounds is just ridiculous. Like there's no reasonable explanation. There's no explanation for why
somebody's not doing their job. You know what I mean? Like somebody's not boxing out. I forget our guy that we had on this morning that was commenting, but he pointed it out. I think his name was Chris actually. But he pointed it out, Paul Reed, box out, man. Like, that's going to be a big part of this tonight, because that's when Kevin Love's going to be getting his minutes too, is when Paul Reed is on the floor. There's going to be a lot of backup minutes for Kevin Love, and that's when we saw him be able to take advantage of the Sixers. So you gotta get out in front of them early as well. I would say that's maybe a place to start with keys to victory. Is get out early and get the crowd involved, man. Get the crowd on your side. Because the crowd, just like everybody else in the Sixers fandom right now, I think I don't know. I feel a little uptight. Like, we're going into the playoffs. This is a big postseason. I'm excited for it. I'm happy it's finally here. But now it's time to hit the floor. And I think the crowd's going to be kind of like that as well. They're going to be a little overexcited. It's a play-in game, but it is the first playoff matchup of the year, man. It's the first one that really, really matters. And they got to show us something tonight. We can't see something similar to what we've seen in the past. That's the biggest thing. Like, guys out there with their heads down, turning the ball over, the rebounding, obviously, just effort, man. Like, come out here with some energy tonight. Be excited that you're on your home court in this type of environment in this moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, man. It's a make or miss league, right? Like, we understand that. But they can't come out flat from the three-point line tonight.
Exactly.
You have too many options now with this current roster for guys that can get hot on any given night. And we've talked about it all offseason long, following that Game 6 collapse and then Game 7 against Boston last year, where Joel Embiid has to kick it out. And who's there? PJ Tucker, Tobias Harris. DeAnthony Melton was probably the best three-point shooter at that moment as an outlet pass option. And it was just clank. And you don't have that issue anymore. So they can't come out flat from that perspective. Let me ask you this. You brought up a very interesting point when it came to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles to me earlier, being how Howie Roseman, has locked up kind of the young core pieces. And, he has A.J. Brown, he has Saquon Barkley, it's extension of Devontae Smith, offensive line getting extended, defensive pieces all added in. The pressure is up. Is this the most pressure-filled, the biggest spot of Joel Embiid's career heading into the playoffs? Because there's always been but. There's always been an excuse. There's always been something else. The roster wasn't good enough. Ben Simmons isn't good enough. James Harden isn't good enough. He has a broken face. He has a torn meniscus. There's none of that up for discussion. They were 31-8 with Joel on the floor this year. They are a dominant team with him on the floor. You cannot shrink tonight or in any series you get thrown out in it as the 7 or 8 seed.
Yeah, I do, man, because I just look at this matchup and I think about it clearly, and it's on paper the Sixers are the better team, man. Like, it's the truth.
Let me stop you right there. They're the much better team.
They're the much better team. And you have coaching that matches at least, right? Like, he can at least be on the same court. Like, he's not Doc Rivers. He's not getting swept under the rug by Eric Spoelstra. So, like, you don't have a superior disadvantage there. So, really, you look around Embiid right now, and you have to ask, like, how can they lose this game? I don't even know that Tobias Harris, like, coming out and stinking it up loses you this game. Honestly, I don't even know if that does it. I think it would have to be Embiid
40 minutes
out of sorts.
Shots.
It would have to be Embiid. The way we lose this game is if Embiid is out of sorts, turning the ball over, feeling in that like lethargic type of mood that he can be in at times, especially when he's beat up or banged up. So I am interested to see. My only worry for Embiid tonight, though, to be clear, is the tic-tackiness of his injury concerns, right? Like, just all it takes is just a tweak and you're sitting there with your heart at the bottom of your stomach, right? Like, damn, what are we going to do if Embiid's out? Yeah. And that's my main worry tonight. It's almost not even me worrying if Embiid's going to show up. Because Embiid has shown, he's showed us that he's different in these moments in the past. Like, even in that playoff run before Pascal Siakam broke his face, hit the big shot against Toronto. What was that, Game 5 or Game 4?
No. It was to take a 3-0 lead back to Philly.
Game 3, yeah. So So nonetheless, hitting a big shot in a big moment to take control of a series. He's shown that he can do that in the big moments. We just need to see him while he's healthy, while he's confident out there. And this is the best team that has been around him, man. I know it feels like we say this all the time, but like when you realize how good Tyrese Maxey is, when you realize how good Kelly Oubre's been this year, when you realize like what the peak could be if Buddy Hield comes out tonight off the bench and hits his first 2 shots from the 3-point line, like things could really get rolling. But you have to come out with that right energy, man. You have to come out with the right energy to get it done. You can't come out and look lethargic,
and we had this
nervous,
conversation,
tight,
I think, last week, right? There is the concern for me that, like, what happens when things go and get tough? What's Joel's body language look like? What's his mindset? But to have that running mate, to have that guy in Tyrese Maxey that he fully believes is not going to let me down tonight. Yeah. Like in the past, you have to admit, like looking back on it, it's like, yeah, dude, you're the leader, you're the best player in the world. You cannot have that type of mindset. But when Ben Simmons passes up a dunk in a game 7 with 2 minutes left, when James Harden shoots 2 for 13 in a game 3 in a 1-1 series, it's got to be difficult. Like there's like that guy, the guy that's supposed to be by my side, can't help me. I truly believe with Tyrese Maxey, his energy won't get down because Tyrese Maxey is not going to let him down. But
it's funny, man. Tyrese Maxey, I just feel like he is that guy in that dark moment. He will lift you up. Like if Joel is looking like he's struggling, Tyrese Maxey could get you through that wave, that little storm, if you need it. And that's something that
I'll say this, Marshall Lynch, to lift your spirits, man. I think it's kind of in the back of it's in the back of everybody's mind, like the what if, right? You play out all these scenarios heading into a game, but I will tell you this: it's not even an option tonight.
Yeah, it really is.
He's not going to not show up tonight. Like I just firmly believe that. I believe that this dude is going to go out there and give you 34 plus tonight. I think he's going to be locked in defensively. I think he has, last year he got the MVP out of the way and he had this mindset heading into the postseason. Then he got beat up again. They ran into Boston and, they came up short. But I truly believe he has this mindset coming back from this injury and I think he sees it, right? With the way Maxey's playing. I think he's like really, really happy that Kyle Lowry is a 76er. Like they've both talked about their partnership and playing together. I hear the way that Kelly Oubre Jr. talks about Joel's kind of mindset and attitude on the practice floor each and every day. Like he's still himself. He's still funny. He's still goofy, but there's a seriousness to him right now at this part of the schedule. So I don't even think it is an option. But Scotty, to get to my second most important key here, or probably my most important, I think rebounding was just this thing needs to happen or you're going to be in trouble tonight, giving up all these second chances. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. They have to shoot well from 3 tonight. Like Spoelstra is going to deploy that zone multiple times throughout the game. I think in crunch time in the fourth quarter, it's going to get thrown out. I think if the Sixers come out strong man-to-man, he's going to do it immediately in the first quarter. You have to be able to break it. You have to be able to beat it. Guess what stops teams in the NBA from running a 2-3 zone or a 3-2 zone like they're in middle school? Knocking down open threes. You stop that, it cuts all that bullshit out because they can't leave these guys alone now. They have to shoot efficiently from 3. That's the bottom line tonight.
It's not that the 3-point shooting depends on Tyrese Maxey. I'm very interested to see how he comes out early. If he's able to hit some early 3-point shots. Because you can usually tell if he's going to have a big night from the 3-point line. If he hits it within his first 2 or 3 shots, and then he'll start to hit a couple in a row, and you'll really know when he's cooking. But I do think that's a big part of like comfortability tonight. Like if Tyrese Maxey comes out, he hits his first 2 3-point shots, he's locked in. He's now able to space the floor. Embiid has more space to work with. Oubre can drive to the lane. Maxey can drive to the lane. Right, it opens up everything. So I just think it's a level of comfortability tonight with Tyrese Maxey specifically hitting those shots. Because if he can, I do think there's other guys that will be able to fill in the blanks there. But I think he's got to be a guy that's ready to dominate tonight and definitely from the perimeter.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I think those are the obvious two in terms of what's most important moving forward? Like what's the game within the game tonight? Like obviously winning first is all that matters. And if neither of them really had their A+ stuff, but the role players pick it up and they beat Miami by 2 tonight, we're all going to be happy afterwards.
Yeah.
But there are things you're going to look at tonight that will point to what could work moving forward. And if Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, that unstoppable duo throughout the course of the 40 games they played together this year, the 35 games they played together this year, if they're the highest scoring duo in the league again tonight against that team in this moment, I can't emphasize it enough, then a light bulb's going to go off. Yeah. Then you're going to sit back and go, okay, this team's getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. If you see that, right?
If they're as good as we think they are, they'll come out and they'll take care of business on home floor. And when I say take care of business, it doesn't mean beating the Miami Heat by double digits, but cover the spread, right? Like I'm not saying I'm laying the spread, whatever. Cover the spread, 5.5 points, 6.5 points, whatever. Cover the spread.
Yeah,
you're on your home court, man. There's no excuses.
Any more keys you got that you're looking at, or any matchups you're looking at on the floor tonight?
Matchups, man. Just who's really going to be the guy that stick their chests out and do something if Jimmy Butler tries to take over this game, right? Like they have guys they're going to send out, they're going to double team, triple team Joel if he tries to assert his will in this game. We need to do the similar type of things against Jimmy Butler. Try different guys on him, right? You can try Nicholas Batum, you can try Kyle Lowry. You can try a bunch of different guys on him. Shit, throw Tobias Harris, let him chase him a little bit, man. Not too long, though. But just throw different looks at him, man. Try different things tonight. And do not let him do what he wants to do out there on the court. I just can't say it enough. The offensive rebounds, that's part of the rebounding, right? But Jimmy Butler specifically getting in there and getting dirty and getting those momentum shifting plays, right? Those and ones off offensive rebounds, or and ones in the lane after somebody misses an assignment, whatever the case may be. Don't let Jimmy Butler take advantage of you tonight. And it's gonna be a key. Kyle Lowry is gonna be a key part of that. We saw that in the last matchup, but I do think Batum could be a key part in that as well, man.
I agree. Jimmy Butler, 28, 7, and 5, I believe, in the 6-game series against the Sixers 2 years ago.
Yeah,
you cannot allow him to have his imprint all over this game. Don't get me wrong. The great ones in the bigger moments, they get
do
going.
Their thing,
and if Jimmy's going to do his thing, that's fine. But you can't allow him to have those moments, those spurts, where it sucks the momentum out of the building and from the bench. You can't allow that to happen. So
because then everybody gets tight.
Whoever it is, yeah. No,
don't want that.
No, I agree with you. But if you had to give me, I know we talked about this earlier this morning, but if you had to give me the X factor now that you've thought about it a little longer throughout the day, who are you going with? Because there is a best bet that I'm going to throw out there later, and this guy could very well be in the argument. I tweeted it out for everybody. But like you said, Kyle Lowry and Nico Batum could play 2 massive roles tonight, man.
Yeah, and throughout the playoffs, man. Honestly, these guys are 2 of the smartest players that I think I've ever seen around. Joel Embiid and company here in Philadelphia. And it's time for them to show their stuff, show their part, what they were brought in for as well, man. But it's interesting, who do I think is really going to be the person that's going to be the X factor, though? It's interesting. There's part of me that just wants to scream out Buddy Hield right now, man. If he could hit some shots when he comes in, he's looked really good down the stretch, man. He's looked really good down the stretch, and I'm curious if he can keep that hot shooting, specifically from the last game. Keep that going, man. Just keep that confidence going. Come out. You do your job. Your job when you come out on the floor, Buddy Hield, is to space the floor, especially when they're running that zone, man. So don't be afraid to let it fly from the 3-point line. So that's definitely a guy I'm looking at. But I think the guy that you were pointing to initially is probably the best answer to that. And that guy being Kelly Oubre, man. But I'll let you go into that. I know you had like a best bet involving him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the odds makers are doing here, and maybe they know something we don't. Maybe his minutes somehow get diminished tonight, and Nick Nurse has a quick leash with him, and Batum and Lowry and Campaign are playing a little bit. Buddy Hield, a little bit more than him. I don't foresee it. Kelly Oubre Jr.'s points are sitting at 12.5 on DraftKings. That's preposterous.
It's interesting.
Like this is a dude that has pretty consistently given the Sixers close to a 20 ball per night. I don't know what did Kelly average for the regular season this year.
Well, he averaged 19 against the Heat in 4 games
Okay,
against them. So
nice.
I mean, for
So
what that's worth.
that already helps. And then on the season, he averaged 15 and a half per game on 44% shooting. So it's not as high as you think, but let's just run through some of these numbers. And I honestly think that's just because of a couple lulls. Let's run through these numbers over his last 10. 17, and then you got a 4-burger thrown in there in 21 minutes against the Cavs. 32, 25, 18, 17, 26, 17, 21, and then 8 points in 24 minutes against the Nets.
Yeah, which they didn't need him to play at the end of the game because that was
correct.
A blowout. So
correct.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I think that's a.
I mean, I'm all over it. I also have him at 13 and a half because that's what it was at earlier. And, fortunate for me, that happens every single time.
15, man. 15 plus points is plus 170, which is. I mean, maybe the books know something that we don't know. Maybe it's something that's going like way over our head here, but I don't know. I just don't see Kelly Oubre's minutes getting scaled like that. I think if anything, you lean on him more in the postseason, right? I think guys like Cam Payne, guys like Buddy Hield, their opportunities, they do have to take advantage of them. All of these guys are candidates that they could be the X factor. Let's be honest. Like Cam Payne could come in off the bench and hit 3 of his first threes that he shoots, right? Like there's so many different guys that you could bring in off of this bench that can give you a spark. So like whether it's Cam Payne, whether it's Buddy Hield, those guys are going to get more limited opportunities, I would imagine. And I would imagine Kelly Oubre is going to get those extended opportunities. But we'll see how the flow of the game goes ultimately. But I think 13 points for Kelly Oubre, man. He attacks the lane so much. He gets to the free throw line. I just think he's too big of a part of the offense right now for him to get less than that. Like if he gets less than that, I feel like we're struggling mightily. But maybe it means that other guys are really, really cooking. Who knows?
Potentially. Do you think this is like their last game in South Beach, or do you think this is a little more cushiony performance from the Sixers?
How much did we beat them by in South Beach? Like 4 points or something?
4 or 5, but like that was, I think, because of a pair of free throws at the very end.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think we were losing with like 4 minutes left or something.
We're at home. Got Embiid. You got.
5.5 point spread.
Yeah, you should cover the spread, man. And I think something a little bit deeper than that, right? Like maybe an 8-point lead, an 8-point win type. Here would be what I would call comfortable, right? Like I don't even know that 5.5 is comfortable, but it is a game where you are playing for seeding. It's a game that does matter. We also can't expect the Miami Heat to come out here and just lay down either. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna give us a game.
No, Eric Spoelstra-led team is laying down.
But I do believe we have the capability. We have the capability if we are rolling. Absolutely. We are the better team. We are better by that much. I do believe that we should be able to win comfortably. But
and the last thing is, think about it. We're sitting here looking at how important this one is to avoid Boston in the first round. I mean, the Miami Heat had the same game plan. I highly doubt the Miami Heat are A-okay with just sitting back and trying to beat the Hawks or the Bulls on Friday night and then taking on Boston on Sunday. I don't foresee that happening. So they are going to have to bring their A game, but that's what we've talked about. If both teams bring their A game, if the Sixers show up, they are the much better team. They're not just the better team. They are the much better team. The Heat have dealt with injuries throughout the year. They missed Tyler Hero for a while. Jimmy Butler has missed time. They've all missed time. Do not get it twisted. But they were like a legitimate record-wise, like 8 seed. Like there was no, I mean, possibly they could have been a 6 to 7 seed. The Sixers with Joel Embiid are a runaway 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Like I believe they ended 3 games behind New York for the 2 seed from the 7 seed.
Yeah, it was tight across the board. Yeah.
Okay. So if Joel Embiid doesn't miss over 2 months worth of basketball, 31-8 with him on the floor this year, you think that 2 seed is going to the New York Knicks? Or you think the Sixers probably win 53 plus games this year?
Right. No, I feel you.
So there's a difference to what these 2 teams did this regular season when both healthy. And I just
really
think
it's that mystique of the Miami Heat. That's what is lingering around this game
And
for the
I'll
Miami
tell you
Heat.
right now, before we give our predictions to wrap up, I don't think that mystique is there anymore. I don't it might come back to bite me in the ass in 30 minutes. I don't think it's the same Jimmy Butler. I don't think it's a Jimmy Butler that's going to go out there and get you 30 points and 8 rebounds and 7 assists on a Herculean effort to beat them. I don't think Bam Adebayo is giving you 24, 25 points and a dozen rebounds. They're role players. Terry Rozier out tonight. You lost Max Strus in the offseason. You lost Gabe Vincent in the offseason. Caleb Martin, I mean, Tyrese Maxey gave him the work on his home floor a couple weeks ago. Tyler Hero is going to get hunted. Duncan Robinson hunted. I don't think the level of competition is that close, but we'll see. I think it's going to be a close game because of what this game means. But from a talent perspective, the Sixers should win this game. I'm going to agree with Darius. I think they should win by 7, 8, 9 points, maybe a little bit higher by the end of this one. But Scotty, to wrap us up, man, we got a couple minutes till tip here.
Yeah.
Game predictions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with the Sixers W. As far as yeah, I mean, the big mystery of the show, the big mystery of the day since the morning show. Yeah, I'm going with the Sixers. I'm just trying to think, like, do I think they cover the spread, man? There's so many different ways this game could go. But I do think that the Sixers show us a little bit of a different side. I think there will be moments where we're like, God damn it, there's those Sixers. I think there will be moments throughout the game, Tobias Harris or Embiid, does a dumb turnover when he's getting, double teamed or something. There's going to be moments mixed in throughout where we're like, God damn it. But I do think in the end they will come through and kind of show us why they're different and how they're different going into this serious postseason run and trying to solidify a spot to just put us in the best position possible in the postseason, right? Like not only getting the 7th seed, getting the New York Knicks rather than the Celtics, but also saving yourself from a game on Friday when you really don't need to be doing that, right? You can just get this W and we can move to Saturday, man. Yeah. So
and give
I do
us
think
one
it's a
hell of a
W.
Saturday to enjoy.
I do think it's a W. Embiid, Maxey. I'm looking at both of these guys. Both of them have to answer the call tonight. It's not just one of them that has to answer it. I think both have to show up and show out tonight. But I am going to go ahead and go with the vote of confidence for my man Maxey. He had 37 the last time out against this team, man. He was approaching a triple-double. So 37, he had like 11. I think he had double-digit rebounds and then close to 10 assists. But nonetheless, I think Tyrese Maxey comes out, his shooting, his floor spacing, his first step, that's going to be what it allows Embiid to be able to work as well tonight against a multitude of different concepts that I'm sure Eric Spoelstra is going to throw out there.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I think this is a Sixers W. There's no room for anything else. If they lose tonight, I'm telling you right now, like by the time Sunday tip-off rolls around, I'll be ready, but there will be a very limited amount of belief in this person right here that this team is going to go on a significant postseason run because I don't think they're getting out of the first round if that's the case. This is the definition of a must-win game. It's not win or go home. It's not a game 7. It is a must-win game. It should be treated as such. I don't think there's any room. I don't think there's any chance that Joel Embiid does not show up tonight. Ever since he's come back in the 6 of 8 games he's played since his return, he's averaging like 30 points, coming off a 37 and 32 point performance in his last 2 starts. I think he's ready to go. I think Tyrese Maxey will be right there next to him. And I think the rest of the team that has been so steady around Joel all year long, they've been in our praises all year long, will show up tonight and get the job done, and we will enjoy our Saturday. But, guys, we got to get the hell out of here because tip is just around the corner for myself, for Scotty. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Go Sixers, and we will be talking to you guys later about this one. Have a great night.
Go Sixers.